Hello, everyone, and welcome to Turnabout podcast.
Hi
I'm your host,
everyone,
Lucie,
and I'm Aris.
and today we're going to discuss female characters in the franchise. But before that, we have our weekly shout out for wonderful artists. So, the artist for this week is, drumroll,
Yeah.
her name is. I'm eating
Okay,
potato, sorry.
shut up, I'll take it
My
over.
brain is fucked.
It's
Okay.
okay, so I don't want to butcher her username. Her actual name is Antonia or Antonia. She's Italian Canadian and she's from Tumblr. And she does fan art. She does absolutely amazing fan art, to specify. And we are
Her
just blown
her name
away.
is laquilasse. I
Sure.
want to say it's laquilasse because it's Italian, but I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. Laquilasse? I don't know. But she's wonderful. Please go check her Tumblr. She mixes a lot of wonderful things such as aceattorney, finds, keeping up with the Kardashians, just cute pictures on the internet. It's very adorable and
Marina
we
and the
love her.
Diamonds. She did
Marina and the
Marina and the Diamonds.
Diamonds. Mm.
A favorite. She does Sebastian the Best. She does the prosecutors. She does everyone,
Kay.
especially Kay. I love the way she draws Kay, especially grown up
She
Kay.
also draws a lot of them as kids. Like it's recurring and it's adorable. Yeah.
A lot of
You're
what?
looking at me. A lot of them as kids, like
Oh yeah,
kids
yeah, yeah,
version of
yeah.
them. And it's really, really cute.
I love her adult Kay. I think it's my favorite drawing.
With the coat.
Yeah. And the caption
Because there's
is
another one at
Capcom,
page
please.
7.
Yeah, please put them in, and please put Kay in Ace Attorney 7. They should put her in Ace Attorney 7.
Absolutely. I second that.
But yeah. Do you remember
And
right at the
there is
beginning?
adorable.
What?
Say what you want to say.
Do you remember right at the beginning of like when I started playing the game? I sent you a fan art of an angry Edgeworth in black and white, and he said, "Look at this fucking autopsy" or something like that, like updated autopsy, bitch. And it was so funny. I was just blown away, and she's the one who did it.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh
I'll
my
try to
God.
find it and put it up on screen. I'll try to find it on our chat because it's super old at this point, I think.
It's probably on WhatsApp.
Yeah, I'll check our WhatsApp chat. I messaged her when I messaged her asking permission to feature her. I told her, by the way, are you the one who drew that? And she was like, I know which one you're talking about. And if that's the case, yes, I did. And I was just so excited because I think that's my favorite piece of fan art I sent you. It's definitely the most memorable. Like, I had sent it to you right as I started to play the game. I think it was Trials and Tribulations. So it stuck with me. And I love that we're now featuring and talking about her work on this platform. You know?
Her work is very wholesome and funny, and it's just adorable. Like, before you said that, I was going to say there's a lot of Edgeworth and Phoenix kind of shipping going on, and it's adorable. Like, it's so cute.
Yeah, the one where Gamshu is holding up
Oh my God. Yeah,
Edgeworth to the window.
that's actually adorable.
Yeah, so please go follow Antonia on Tumblr. Her art is amazing. Legit. The one where Phoenix is with the mask. And he's looking up. It's
I
just so good.
can't find it. I can't find what you're talking about on our group chat,
I'll
on
find
our
it, don't worry. I'll
WhatsApp.
find it.
But I'm finding back other stuff. Jesus Christ.
Uh-oh.
Jesus Christ. But there's other cute fan arts. Okay. So definitely go check her out. And she's lovely. Just go follow her.
Yeah. So that's Antonia on Tumblr. I'll put up lots of her. I mean, I saved already 12 of them. And if I find the other one, 13. So I'll add all of them on screen because they're just so good. K in the coat. I'm
Kay in Gumshoe's coat. That's adorable. That's a look. I love their relationship, Gumshoe and Kay. Like, it's very, very wholesome and cute.
It is. Over the fucking, what was it, cinnamon roll? Do you remember?
Yeah. I vaguely remember. Is it from aceattorney Investigation 1?
Yes, please, if anyone who's listening, comment below and encourage Lucie to replay Investigation 1 because she doesn't remember anything from that game.
This game has left no memory on my mind. I also played it during very chaotic times, so I think that explains why. Like, I was in acting school and I was in night school, and I was playing it during night school at the back of the class.
Okay, Miss Night School.
Yes, and it was like, I hated night school. It's awful. You wake up, the sun is down, and kids are going like home, and you're like, this is the beginning of my day. And there was pervs that like you take the subway at like 1, and there's weird guys. I hated it. And my escape was Institute Investigation 1, but my memory completely blocked it for some reason.
Thank you for that information. Probably no one asked for.
You're like so mean sometimes.
If you're listening to this,
I'm gonna block you and I'm gonna disappear from this side of the earth, and I'll be a mystery. No one knows where I'll go. They'll be gone.
Okay. If you're listening to this, please comment down below and encourage Lucie to play Investigations 1 and Ghost Trick. Thank you. And now, on to today's subject. Female characters and female representation, female characterization in the Ace Attorney series. Major spoilers ahead. We're kind of getting the hang of that now.
I mean, I don't think we've done a single episode where there's no spoilers, so I think they know what they're getting into now.
Yes, our 3 viewers know that we are talking spoilers.
Yes. One of the 3.
Okay. So, female characters. I think the first thing that pops into mind, at least for me, is Mia.
Definitely. I mean, Mia and Maya. Maybe a little more Maya. Because she's so pivotal in the story.
I don't
Mia is a great
consider
example.
Maya to be... I don't want to say a woman, but until Ace Attorney 6, Spirit of Justice, I feel like she's a teen.
Yeah, but she's still a female.
Yeah, she is. But when I say female characters and womanhood, I don't know why, but the first thing that pops into mind is Mia because she is a working woman. She isn't in her teenhood. She's like the she's undying. You know? Her image is instilled throughout the trilogy.
Yeah. But like, for instance, I also think about Francisca when I think of women in the series, and Francisca is the same age as Maya. Maya. So it's crazy that I get what you mean by like Maya's more like a teenage girl than a woman, but they're the same age and there's such a huge gap between how we view them.
Maybe it's because Francisca doesn't act like her age. Like she's predetermined to be older and succeed in her father's footsteps and defeat Miles. I don't know. It's not that Maya is not a woman. That's definitely not what I'm saying. But it's just that she doesn't exude femininity. And that's fine. I mean, that's more than fine. But at the same time, it just leads to me not thinking about her as when I'm thinking of women. Like, neither do I think Lotta Hart as a strong female character.
Why do you not see Lotta Hart as a strong female character?
Because these characters are mostly used for comedic relief. Not Maya, but Lotta Hart definitely. And the same for Wendy Oldbag. She is older, but they're used for comedic relief. Whereas you have other women which aren't used for comedic relief, such as Mia, Francisca, Adrian Andrews, even Desiree, who doesn't bring something new to the table, like isn't a main character, but still exudes like. When I think of her, when I think of women in the series, I don't know how to explain it. I'm explaining it kind of like in a shitty way.
I think what you're trying to say is like, when you think of femininity in the series, like you don't think of Loda Hart and Wendy Oldbag, you think more of those other very
more not
sexual
not that it's
characters.
exclusive towards it. No, it's not sexualized. Adrian Andrews wasn't sexualized. Or neither Francisca. For me, when we're talking about femininity and women in the series, I'm thinking they have to bring something new to a game which is very horny, like we've discussed last week, and that doesn't see a lot of women succeeding very often. And I'm just thinking of the characters that kind of like change that, instead of characters which have other roles, like, again, comedic relief. You know?
Okay. So you're like interested, when you think about like the women of Ace Attorneys, you think of women who kind of challenge our views of femininity and like womanhood.
Yes.
And like it's not really challenged with Loda Hart or Wendy Oldbag. It's just they just happen to be women, but it has nothing to do with their personality. Whereas it's true, like Francisca and Mia being in really high positions and of power, and
it doesn't have to be high
like,
positions. It can be just overturning conventions. Like Dahlia being a sweetheart, but in actuality being one of the smartest masterminds in the games.
Yeah.
Who else? There's like a bunch of them. Or like a negative example would be Camille, whose boobs are sticking out of her shirt. You know?
The sleepy one.
Yeah, the sleepy one. Yeah. Even Dee Vasquez, who is a villain. She's a villain. But I think her backstory, the way it's presented, is kind of like, no, this isn't a weak woman. She actually took action. You know?
Yeah.
She protected herself from Jack
Dee
Hammer.
Vasquez isn't someone who strikes herself as weak. Like, she's one of the most... She's super powerful, and she just exudes that.
Yeah. So there's positive and negative examples. For example, Regina Berry does nothing.
Yeah.
Her whole story arc is about being married. And the same as Ellen Sprocket, or whatever her name was, Ellen Wyatt.
Oh, Ellen White, yeah.
Like, she's
had no
constantly crying because her asshole fiance dump her, or didn't dump her, but like does nothing to help out. And is that your whole character trait?
Her and her husband were so boring. Like, they have no, I don't know, neither of them has personality. And so it was so infuriating to play that case. Like, I just did not care. But at the same time, I do think boring people love each other. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they make a good couple in that sense.
In that they're
But
horrible
I think,
characters.
yes.
Hmm.
But I think Snap brought a very good point last week is that so many female characters are heavily sexualized. Like,
Yeah, of course they are.
of course. I mean, not of course, but like, it's. I think it's interesting because not all of them are. Some of them are like written in a way that it's. And just like Loda Hart, she's not sexualized. Like, she's
No,
not
she's not.
drawn with huge boobs.
Hmm.
And even like the fact that Maya is one of the main characters, and she's like a teen, and she's like super
Hmm.
immature, and she's not really sexualized throughout the franchise is a nice contrast. Like, I think the thing is, I'm conflicted about this because it's like, oh, it's really good. Like, I was gonna say groundbreaking. Like, oh yes,
Hmm.
we have a
Hmm.
character in the franchise that's like not with huge boobs and not super sexy like half of them are, and who's just allowed to be clumsy and funny and a goof. Is that a goof? But at the same time, no one put a gun in their head and made them draw huge boobs. You know what I mean?
Look, I think there's so much progress you can make when the game came out in 2001 as well. And I'm
Mm,
thinking that Mia was progressive in the way that the game starts off and your mentor, even though she's sexualized, of course she's sexualized, your mentor is a female character. A female, it's not like she's Tomb Raider who's like this insanely slick and skilled woman who goes through tombs and like stuff, like the female Indiana Jones, and it's not even like a powerful witch or something like that. It's an actual profession. Like putting the
mm.
medium stuff, like the spirit stuff to the side, it's a profession which takes years to like get used to, and like having it be the first thing that comes in the game. Like this woman is like Phoenix is her protege, and she gives you the tutorial, you learn the ropes. It's just, I think it's progressive, even though they give her
I
huge
do
boobs.
agree. I think like Mia is such a refreshing character because
Yeah.
they're usually a dichotomy with like over sexualized character, female characters, and them having no personality.
Mm.
Or not even no personality, but no intelligence and
Yeah.
independence. And I think when I think of Mia, I don't think of a sexy woman. I think of she's so fucking smart and she saves our ass throughout the game.
Yeah.
She is our mentor. Like, she's so fantastic. Like, she's such a great character.
And death
And
doesn't stop her from helping.
yes, death is nothing for Mia, which says a lot about her. And I just like growing up, it was so refreshing to see someone who was so sexy and so beautiful and
Mm.
so like voluptuous, but also super smart and super independent and could
Yeah.
carry herself. Like, it wasn't anything I'd seen before because there was usually the dumb sexy woman and the I think they kind of almost switched personalities between Maya and Mia. Like, Mia could have totally have that clumsiness and that kind of immaturity, and
Mm.
she would have been a sexy side character, and Maya could have been like the flat-chested, powerful woman who takes over the company. And I like that they reversed both of them and made Maya into this adorable character and Mia into this powerful and so intelligent woman. And I think she's such a breath of fresh air. So, like, even though the female character are sexualized, they are well written, and I think that's very important.
There's positive and negative examples for sure, but going back to what you said about women who are sexualized at first glance, seeming dumb and goofy, but then actually overturning the convention. For example, I'm thinking mainly about Angel Star.
I thought you were going to say someone else.
Who?
April May?
Oh. Well, her too then.
Yeah.
Join the party, sweetie. But Angel Star,
totally.
specifically, there's this whole deal is made out about her being promiscuous and having like, boyfriend number 1 and boyfriend number 2, and her outfit being suggestive with the choker. I mean, this is not what I'm thinking. This is what common thought was. But then we find out that she was actually one of the detectives. She's a detective, and a skilled one at that. And like she takes offense when her taking action in the garage is put into question. You know, she's like, shut the hell up. Like, I tried to do my best to stop Lana Skye from committing murder, you know? So, again, she's sexualized, but she rises out on top in the end,
Yeah,
you know?
and same for April May.
Yeah,
like,
same for April
she
May.
uses the expectation that we have of her to manipulate. Also Dahlia in a way, even though if it's sexualized in another way, more like a cute, adorable way, but they use what they think people are going to think of them to manipulate them and get their ways.
Eeny Meeny, being supposedly dumb.
I think, so we've seen they're capable of doing that. I think Regina Barry could have been another really interesting character if they had like given her more depth.
I think
it's hard to believe that a 16-year-old wouldn't,
that's a major issue.
Understand death. You know what I mean?
Look, I think female characters are very hit and miss. Even if it's not as smart as the examples we've just mentioned. For example, Viola Cadaverini we see very little of her, and she doesn't pretend to be something else. She's not like made out to be dumb or sexualized, but at the end, she overcomes Furio Tigre. Like, that's her story arc. That he saved her, and she's had the burden of being with him ever since. And it's not that it's something like, oh, that's smart, da-da-da-da-da. It's not something like that. But at the same time, she did that. She did that.
Yeah. It's not like a twist to her character. Like, she still stays true to herself.
Yeah.
But it's a nice storyline. Like, discovering that she doesn't need him. Like, it's just nice. And she's kind of a villain, but she's written in a way that we do root for her. And there's so many like great female examples. The word females feels weird. Great woman in this franchise. I just think, like, I don't know. Do you want to talk about the bad examples now?
I want to say something else first. I want to say that...
Tell me.
talking about professions and with Mia or Angel Star, it goes both ways. We see some incredible female villains who take the matters into their own hand because they couldn't take it anymore. Well, some of them are plainly evil, but like, okay, for example, Callisto Yu, my favorite. I mean, she's just evil. She's evil.
Yeah.
But she disguised herself for so many years as Sheena. She made it work. And then Aura Blackquill, even though she's not a villain or evil, she took matters into her own hands because her brother was going to be prosecuted. And she kept everyone hostage. Like, kudos, Aura Blackquill, for doing that. I mean, you go, girl. And then...
You do go, girl.
The twins from the Magical Turnabout, or... what's her name?
Queen Garen.
Queen
Garen.
She
wanted to be queen. She took matters into her own hands.
Yep. And she looked fabulous doing so.
Yes, she did.
What's her name? Patricia Rowland from the jail.
Yeah.
Or
straight up evil.
Yeah, straight up evil. I can't remember her name. The clown lady from Turnabout Storyteller.
Oh.
Your favorite case.
Oops, again, I'm thinking of... I'm seeing her face right now with her pink wig and fake boobs.
But...
No clue what her name is.
I mean, come on. Wasn't it because she was mad at her father?
Yeah.
That was her motive. I mean, it's nothing admirable to kill your own dad, but she took matters into her own hands.
Even Morgan Fay.
Yeah, Morgan Fay.
Morgan Fay did what she had to do to secure the lineage.
The queen thought of the whole plan with Eeny Meeny, and then he even orchestrated more in being in jail. What a fucking mastermind.
She's so clever. I have 3 questions for you.
Shoot.
1, who's your favorite female character in the game? 2nd, who's your favorite villain in the game? And 3rd, who's your favorite victim in the game?
Okay, miss. Using other episode topics.
That's not others episode topics.
Favorite female character, I can't decide. I can't.
Yeah.
It's Mia, Maya, Eeny Meeny, Callisto Yu, Sasha Buckler, Aura Blackquill, or Kay Faraday.
Okay.
I can't decide. This is too difficult. Eeny Meeny is my girl, but the other ones are so good as well. Callisto Yu, I can't not mention her. What about you?
But she can be your favorite villain.
But wait, did you mean female villains or villains in general?
Female villains.
Oh. Then again, it's either Eeny Meeny or Callisto Yu.
Okay.
What about you?
Well, boring answer, but probably Maya, my favorite. She's a stable one.
She's so sure.
The white bread of Ace Attorney. I do love white bread. Favorite villain has to be Dee Vasquez, I think. Yeah. Favorite female villain. And favorite victim. Well, I don't know. I'm thinking about it. I think I know yours.
Does it have to be female?
Well,
keeping with the episode theme.
You can say both. You can say your favorite victim in general and your favorite.
Who do you think victim. It is?
I think it's Jill Crane.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
What the
good.
fuck? How did you know?
I just know you're an open book and I can just read it whenever I want.
Okay, okay. Favorite female victim would have to be Jill Crane. And favorite victim in general would either be Jill Crane or Mask the Mask 3. Mask the Mask the Third. I think that was such a hilarious gag. Like, I literally laughed out
Yeah.
loud, even reading his profile. I'm looking at his picture now and I'm just like, I can't take it. But
What
yeah,
does it look like?
don't you have the tier list? Aren't you looking at the tier
I do
list?
have it.
It's
Yeah.
on the perfect tier.
I don't have your tier list though. I
Oh,
have a random one.
girl.
I can't check your attachment anymore on my phone, so okay, I'll just check it out later.
Okay.
It's a hard question because by victim we mean people who died before we got to know them, because then it'll be like characters that I love,
Yeah.
like Mia. I do like Summer from
Oh,
Turnabout
Azura
Reclaimed.
Summers. Yeah.
Yes, she's really cool. Hmm.
Oh, and the teacher. I really like the teacher from Turnabout
Yeah,
Academy. Constance Court.
Constance Court
Yep. Oh, and Athena's
in
mom as
Sync.
well.
Oh, I did love Celeste from Turnabout
Yes.
Goodbyes,
I want
Turnabout
farewell my
Farewell.
turnabout.
It's Farewell My
I
Turnabout.
wanted to talk about that later as well.
Do you want to segue into that?
I just want to explain for the listeners why Jill Crane.
Mm, go for
Again,
it.
the profession. Like, she didn't have to help out Kay. But, wait, was the letter forged? Or did she
The
actually...
letter, the letter was forged by um, Simon.
Are you sure?
I think so, yeah, because at the end they're like, this was still planted on K, and that's why we get the call at the last like
Oh.
bit of the fourth case.
But she was like... She was the one who was caught. Sorry, I got confused. Okay.
Mm.
Like, her actions were admirable, and having a high profession and even being a prosecutor. Again, seeing another prosecutor. Like, we saw Callisto Yu being an attorney, we saw Jill Crane being a prosecutor, and I don't know, it made me so happy knowing that it isn't just Phoenix and Edgeworth or Apollo
Yeah,
and Kristoff.
it helps
And
the world building just knowing there's other people out there.
who don't have to be main characters,
Yeah,
who or antagonists. I don't know. It was really admirable what she did, and I I don't like when like people are like, who is that for the victims? Like, I don't remember, because
mm,
okay, some victims died without doing anything, like whatever. Like, for example, Maggie Bird's boyfriend. Who the fuck cares? But
yeah.
I don't know. I can't explain it. I don't know why I like her so much, actually. Let's just go with that.
You have a little crush.
Yeah, I have a crush on Jill Crane, that's why.
Yeah, I found Mask the Mask 3, by
It's
the way.
so funny.
Oh my God, he has a good highlighter though. His cheekbones are glowing. Um, so shall we segue into Farewell My Turnabout and the relationships with Adrian Andrew and Celeste?
Yeah.
So
So,
I was going to like talk about the case, but like people who are watching this know about this case probably. Like we don't need to give a
no,
rundown
we
on
don't
what
need to
happened.
recap.
Yeah, we don't need to recap.
You remember I'm currently playing that case.
Oh yeah, that's true. How is it going, by the way?
I
felt
never
like
finished it.
we haven't talked about it for a while.
I played it early December. I wanted to keep this for the problematic episode, but it does have to do more with feminism, and it does have to do more with female characters being taken advantage of, and of course it has to do with suicide awareness. And I don't want to like make it so grim or anything, but it is an important subject, and I'm so happy
Yeah,
they included it in the game,
especially in Japan,
especially in
where
Japan, right?
it's so much more taboo than here.
Yeah. I think when we're talking about that case, it's kind of like the exact same thing with John Armstrong. Because on the one hand, the main characters of this game are based off yaoi. But then you have John Armstrong, which is the most homophobic thing ever.
Yeah.
And then in Farewell My Turnabout, you have Celeste Inpax being this angelic figure whose surname in Latin means in heaven or something, in Pax. Yeah, that's what it means. And
That's
Celeste
cool.
is stars. So
Yeah.
it's literally hinted at that she was not even hinted at it, straight up told that she was being taken advantage of this from this two asshole men, and in the end she
Yeah.
commits suicide because she couldn't take it anymore. And like Adrian Andrews is hinted at that she had a crush on her, and like you feel like the game actually is taking matters into its own hands and is being like, it's something that definitely happens in real life, so we're raising awareness through
Yeah.
this game. And then despite all this good and all this progress during the trial, I had to pause the game, and I just couldn't play anymore because I felt so uncomfortable making like pressuring Adrian Andrews to confess and using the case file of her attempted suicide as leverage. Like, that feels so sick. And
Yeah.
I don't know, it's kind of like one step forward and two step backwards, if you ask me. It was
It's
so
a
uncomfortable.
it's a game that places you in a morality kind of. I mean, it's a very moral game. The bad guys go to prison and you save the good guys. But with such a great case like this one, the whole setup of the game having to lie your way in is kind of disturbing.
Yeah. I didn't
It's
like
fucked
it.
up. I understand. I totally understand. It feels wrong.
It does feel wrong. And that's why I put it down, like I put it away. I never finished that case.
Are you going to?
I started playing Trials and Tribulations.
Did you?
Yeah, but it's been a while. But yeah, it's just it's uncomfortable.
Yeah. It's upsetting.
It is upsetting. And I don't know. It's this I feel like it's not the exact same thing, but again, it's the same situation with Athena and her mistreatment. It felt In retrospect, it felt kind of like tokenism, if you're asking me.
Yeah, like, oh, we have a female
We
character
have a female character, and she's an
we have our
attorney.
female attorney, and she's young. She's super young, and she's like a genius, but she's gonna be incredibly patronized throughout her trial. Like, her first trials, Phoenix steps in, and she only has like one trial in that game, Dual Destiny,
No, she doesn't have a.
right?
She doesn't have a trial.
It doesn't. Is she the main person for Academia?
The only case she handles on her own, without
Yeah.
having any other playable characters, is Turnabout Storyteller.
She has like other people for Academia.
I think so. I think
Oh
Apollo or
shit.
Phoenix step in.
Oh yeah, Phoenix. I think Phoenix steps in. It's so upsetting because
Oh,
it's
it's
like
no,
we
it's not
have.
Phoenix, it's Apollo. Because do you remember Apollo is going against Aristotle means, and they dress up Athena as a statue.
Huh.
They put the blanket on her.
And she does this, and it
Yeah,
looks
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
Phoenix,
yeah, yeah.
right?
Yeah. So he's the one on
Mm,
the desk.
okay.
Um,
But
I
it's so
yeah.
infuriating because she's like presented as another attorney and the equal of Apollo and Phoenix, but the game
Mm,
doesn't treat her like that. She's an assistant. She's an assistant throughout the game.
she's an assistant. I'll attach that essay that we attached a couple of episodes. I think in the first episode, the essay I wrote about her mistreatment, self promotion, gal.
Yes.
Gotta get that coin. But I want to talk about it a bit more in detail. Basically, she's not given any cases. It really annoys me that she's wearing a skirt and a tie, which is like up to her boobs, like not even longer. And we also talked about how almost every character in the series has long hair.
Mm.
Make it make sense.
I'm not a huge fan of Athena's design because I just feel like we've seen that before from the game. Wasn't super
I'll
original.
I'll put up on the screen the concept art I sent you a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I remember.
Do you remember her with short hair and those like
Mm.
the like globe ears, the alien ears?
But the thing is, she looks too much like an anime character. You know what I mean? Like, I've seen that character in anime before, and Ace Attorney's character aren't super anime-like to me. Like, they're supposed to be quite realistic, apart from the medium's outfit, who's like to show contrast. And yeah, there's fun hair colors, but I don't know. She just felt she could be in like a rock band in an anime. That's the vibe I'm getting from her. I do
Yeah.
like her as a character. I just don't love her design.
That's the thing. I don't have an opinion on Athena Sykes. I like her as a personality, but her
Mm.
character, babe, she's given absolutely nothing to do. That's what I wanted to say before. That's what I meant by going into more detail.
She's
She's
also super
introduced.
similar to Maya.
Yes, she's
Mm.
a replacement for an assistant. And she's introduced, and her backstory is not given through any cutscenes or anything. She talks it out with Apollo. Like it's the dialogue mechanic, like talk.
Mm.
And she says she's like similar to Francisca in the sense that she's super young and she studied over in Europe, da 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 da. But after that, I guess she's, I don't know, put on the shelf because the next time we see her take on a major role is, I mean, she's the one who investigates in Turnabout Academy, but that case was not it. Like,
But she
instead
could have
of
been such a fun character if they had
yeah,
given her more personality. Like, what if they made her kind of like a deadpan humor, sarcastic, kind of broody teenager? Like, it could have been different. It could have been fun. I feel like characters in Ace Attorney, especially main ones, are all super similar to Maya. When like whether it's Emma Sky or Athena Cykes or even Trucy, they have the same bubbliness.
yeah,
And I'd like to see more impolite characters, female characters from the game. They're all too smooth.
yeah, they are. For example, Rafa.
Yeah, I like Reva.
Rafa
I
was a
liked
nice
her.
change of pace. Although she was an annoying character, as I've mentioned before, I didn't quite like her, but at least like it wasn't the same shit.
Yeah, and it did create interesting dynamics with Phoenix. Like, it was fun. Their interaction felt like a dad and his teenage daughter. I felt like Reva and Phoenix had more chemistry than Trucy and Phoenix because it's more like, I love you, dad. I love you too. And it's gets repetitive and they don't have a super clear bond in the series.
No, it's just told to us. It's just see, they said I love
Yeah,
you, so they mean it. It doesn't show
yeah,
anything. Whereas with Rafa, getting annoyed as they investigate and Phoenix as he comes into more like conclusions and he finds those realizations about the cases, she understands that her mom and her dad are actually corrupt assholes and
yeah.
the country like she's believed in so much in for her entire life is actually everything is a lie. And that is shown and
Definitely.
that's a genuine relationship.
Also, the scene where she realized that her dad did love her because she's his safe password.
Yeah.
Like, it was like such a lovely scene, and it was a good example of like, oh, you have characters that actually have interesting interaction and interesting conflicts.
Mm-hmm.
I think you may not like Rafa, but you can't deny that her character brought something new to the table
Yeah.
and shook things up.
But returning back to Athena,
Mm.
you have I mean she's given nothing. And then she's just defended in the last case, which again, similarities with Maya. But then she's giving finally a case, and it's literally one of the worst cases.
Yeah, also no investigation
No
where you get to see a
investigation.
lot of the personality.
There's no
It,
investigation. The whole trial would go to shit if Black Quill wasn't there to help her out. Her client disrespects her in front of her and like he's like, oh, this little girl, da 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 da. Shut the fuck up. Thank God he's unconscious for most of the case.
yeah,
And uh, it's such a mess. It's literally Spirit of Justice had no idea what to do with Athena. She's stuck playing babysitter for Trucy.
definitely.
I don't even remember if she travels to Kurain in the end. Kurain.
She does. But like I do like Athena, but I think I would have respected the writers more if they just didn't put her in Spirit of Justice. Like, okay, the last game, she was a character in the last game, kind of like Raymond Shields in Investigation 2, but she had her arc and now she's moved on to Europe. Like, it would have felt like, okay, I get that, but for me, Spirit of Justice was just like a waste of a character. Like, Spirit of Justice with Athena Sykes could have been the same.
I don't think she should have been introduced at all if they would keep Apollo.
Yeah,
I think she should have been it should if she had to be a lawyer, she should have replaced Apollo in Dual Destinies and Spirit of Justice. Or if you wanted to keep Apollo, she should have just been the new assistant. Clear cut. Don't make her a lawyer and then have her be an assistant. You should have said, but at the
Definitely.
beginning, she's an assistant.
Athena Cykes felt like a sacrificial lamb to the gods of raising the stakes in the Ace Attorney world. Like, she was just here for a backstory and for it to be used during the last case because of like her trauma. And it's upsetting. She's just here for a backstory. And
Yeah.
I think it's just lazy writing because instead of like, think about the game Dual Destiny without Athena Cykes. It's just about Phoenix coming back. And oh, but no, we needed someone to tie all of the ties at the end and have a childhood trauma who explains everything. And because we care about the characters, we need to find the killer. Just no, you did it greatly. I mean, I would have been invested in that story just if it was like the case of the client and we discovered that it was tied to another case in the past. Like, be Athena a witness in the last trial, but don't set her up for failure, basically, by introducing her as this great new main character and then treating her like a side character.
Dual Destinies is such a mess. They tried to cram so much in it. They tried to have. I hate saying this, but I say it all the time. Phoenix shouldn't have come back. He shouldn't have come back. Like, his story ended in the trilogy. And Investigations told another story in the same timeline. It's Edward's story. But then
Yeah.
when you went ahead and made Apollo justice, it had its flaws. But at least have the balls to stick with that. And like, can you imagine if Phoenix wasn't in Dual Destinies? That would be much better. We'd have room for Athena's development. But that it just tries to juggle so many storylines at the same time. You have Phoenix returning. You have Athena's introduction. Will Phoenix tell Trucy and Apollo they're siblings? Wait and find out. You have the dark age of the law, which isn't even shown. It's just told to us a million times, and
Yeah.
the ends justify the means. You have Black Quill, who is this new dark prosecutor. You have... What else do you have? You have... Apollo's backstory with Clay Tehran and him being hit by the fallout in the court. You have Aura Black Quill's backstory. Like, it's too much. It's just too much.
Totally. Like, 3 protagonists. It's the first time in the franchise we've had 3 protagonists. And it's exhausting. Like, every time it was like, okay, this is Phoenix story, then this is Miles story, then this is Apollo story. And now it's like, hey, everybody's in there and Athena's backstory, and then the next game it's Apollo's secret backstory. It's just draining and all over the place.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Anyway, moving on. I just want to say that for the example we were talking about before about women in professions, and that's why I like them, even that can go wrong. Because I love her, but Justine Courtney is such a shallow written character.
Oh, wait.
What? Did you forget who she is?
Absolutely. Oh, of course. Okay,
I
of course.
hate you right now.
How could I forget her? My brain is mushed.
I'm including this in.
Yeah, of course. I was just like Justine Courtney because at first I was like confusing her with Constance
Constance
Court.
Court,
And
yeah.
I was like, wait, is it like the little sister of Constance Court that I forgot
No.
about? Okay, of course, yeah.
Um,
Let's talk about Justine Courtney.
I love that she's okay. Listen, I love
Overruled.
overruled is my favorite soundbite. She has a mini gavel she takes everywhere and smacks, and that expands and smacks everyone with it. She's a female judge. How cool is that?
Yeah.
And
Also, it's
also,
great to see other judge. I love seeing like other judge against like it's like seeing other prosecutor in the world. It's like, oh, there's actually not just one judge and his brother in this universe.
yeah, just like with Callisto Yu and Jill Crane.
Mm,
And then one of my favorite aspects, and I know you love this, is
yeah.
her being a mother. I
Mm,
think that just, I don't know, that was fantastic. That was a fantastic aspect. And in a series that is just full of like dead parents, it was so refreshing to see like a mother-son relationship. Even though John Marsh is not her biological son, she loves him to bits. And she was so worried about going after him. And I don't know, I just
totally.
really love that moment when they hugged.
I don't believe in Trucy and Phoenix adoptive relationship. I 100% believe in Justin and John's. Like they sell it. The moment she disciplines him when he's being bratty and she's like, you do not talk to people like that. Like I love their relationship. It's very well made, it's very well written. You believe it and it's just adorable. Also, the women in Ace Attorney tend to be very young.
Yeah.
Again, Justine Courtney, she's like, we've discussed this before, she's like, what, 26 or something? She's 20. She's like 20 something, where she could have easily been like 30, 35. So we don't get to see a lot of mothers.
Hmm.
They're usually dead.
Yeah.
But I loved seeing her. It was so cute when she was worrying and disciplining him. It was just adorable. It worked really well.
Now, all that being said, I think she's not written well. Like,
Tell me.
her actions never make sense.
Mm.
If she's trying so hard to crack down Blaze the Best, why is she being such a bitch and such a pain in the ass in the first two cases? And I mean, in the Imprisoned Turnabout and what's the other one with
Um,
Gregory?
rest Turnabout. Oh shit! It's not Recipe for Turnabout. It's Turnabout Memories.
No, Turnabout Memories is Trials and Tribulations. Shit.
Ha! Shit. Wait, I'm gonna Google it.
Oh, this is gonna.
Resume what you're talking about. I'll tell you what is happening tonight.
I don't
What is
know.
happening to us?
Just to give everyone context, Lucy forgot what the podcast name is.
For my defense, no, there's no way of excusing that. I'm just very tired.
We had to do
I
the
don't
intro
even know
twice because she
why.
said, "Hi guys, and welcome back to Turnabout Objection, objective objection podcast."
For my defense, the first time wasn't the inherited turnabout.
Then heard the Turnabout, of course.
Yes, because inherited from your dad. Um, the first time you had to redo the intro because it was your fault. You just stood there and like, I'm not ready.
Shut up. Anyway,
Once again, they got mad at Jesus for saying the truth.
no, she's not written well. Okay, Justine Courtney is not written well. I don't know why. I mean,
Some of like she doesn't make sense sometimes. Like, why is she being such a dick in the first
yeah,
two things? Like, we've like practically proven that the person is guilty, and she's still like, no, that as a person who I have no evidence towards seems to be the guilty party. It's just frustrating.
it's a similar with Nayuta in the sense that if you're so religious not religious, if you're so faithful in the law, then you might want to turn around your POV every once in a while, because, honey, the people you're
Yeah.
defending are usually villains, like, and you can tell that from their appearance. I mean, she
There
has nice
are the
aspects.
least slick villains.
Yes.
They're practically carrying the murder weapon with blood on it. And Naruto is like, this must be the victim in this situation.
I mean, to her defense, in Prison Turnabout and the Inheritor Turnabout, you couldn't really tell who it was, and up until the end. That actually kind of makes sense now. I mean, I couldn't really.
I don't know. She was just like, when I was playing it, it was frustrating me. It was just like so annoying.
I know. I'm just blown away by the fact that I've been so mad at her for defending like the villains, and then I'm like, I didn't even know who the villains were. So there's a bit of sympathy for Justine Courtney. I mean, I literally thought the villain in The Inherited Turnabout was Patricia Scones, or whatever her name was. Delicious scones. The chef. I thought it was her.
Yeah, me too. She was suspicious, and she was like, why was she described as scarily? You know, the first time we hear
by
about
Dane
it, she's like,
Gustavia.
she's a scary woman. Yeah.
Yeah, I was waiting up until the end to see like a character transformation, like the animation. Like I could imagine her, like, I know you've never played Undertale, but there's this evil flower that has like just a simple ass smiley face, and then in like one of the sprites is just him having like really detailed teeth and empty eyes. I was expecting that to happen with Delicious Scones, like her head to like pop off and actually like her eyes being the nostrils of this monster, because Dane Gustavia is like that horrifying woman, and I'm like, this is the cutest shit I've ever seen. But also in the Prison Turnabout, you thought it was Dogen.
Yeah, totally.
So,
but at the same time, it was like, it's too easy.
Yeah,
that he was like so scary.
You
know, and sometimes during the second case, it's like someone super obvious.
Like what?
We've kind of drifted off topic.
Yeah,
but I wanted to say something. As we're talking about how most of the characters are super, when I say polite, I mean like nice characters, nice female character for most times. The character, apart from Rayfa, that completely destroys that is Francisca. Like, she's one of the main characters from the trilogy, and I was gonna describe her as a bitch, but she's such a fucking pain in the ass, and it's so refreshing to see. Like, she's so frustrating and such a villain, but at the same time she has an amazing arc, and they don't change her. I think we've already discussed this.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, that for the people who, we've mentioned this before, for the people who say that she doesn't have character development, she does have character development. She just chooses to remain the bitch. That doesn't mean she doesn't develop, because she doesn't turn into like a Maya character. She does, and just the fact that she stays a bitch just again shatters the idea that every character has to be so kind and bubbly, you know?
Yeah, she's just like, she grows up because she continues to be the same, but not out of spite and revenge, but just for her own benefit and to help others. Like, she works for Interpol, and she's like investigating tons of stuff, but she's just like, she doesn't change who she is. She just lives a healthier life, and she like forgets about grudges, which is such a good character development.
At the beginning, she's this villain who does it just because she wants to win. And at the end, she's not a bitch, but I'll never forget that screenshot I took of the game. That's Justine Courtney and Francisca saying every individual has to, like, something like take responsibility for their own crimes or something like that. I'll put it on screen. I was like, fuck yes, like hell yeah, you go, Francisca. Like, she's not doing it out of self-interest anymore. She's being a prosecutor. Like, she's looking for justice, and she still has her own
Exactly.
agenda that doesn't change.
I think at the beginning when we meet her, she's driven by hate and jealousy and envy. And at the end, she's like, the reason why she does the thing she does is like, she wants to be a good prosecutor. And she does it for herself and not to like fulfill her dad's wish. And I think, like, of course, Francisca was never going to turn around and be like a cuddly bear. But that's what's great about her. Like, she stays true to herself. I love
And
her arc.
that's what I wish we'd see from Justine Courtney. That's what I wish we'd see from Justine Courtney, because despite all the praise I gave her, like the aspects of her character, she has interesting and sympathetic aspects in her character, but she doesn't have development. She's this overly faithful woman who'd rather deny and reject all of Edgeworth's beliefs for no particular reason. And
Yeah,
then
totally.
when Edgeworth finally lands in prison, she's like, you want some help there? And it's never
Yeah.
explained.
It's just, I feel like what's confusing about Justine Courtney is that the writer didn't really know what they wanted to do with her. Like, they didn't have a clear idea of what direction to go. So she's just like, at first, she's a total bitch to Edgeworth, and she's like, I'm gonna take your badge away, and everything you do, I'm gonna be watching you. And then 2 episodes later, without like nothing happens, and suddenly
Yeah.
she just goes to him, and it's just like Francisca was very well written because you understood why she acted the way she acted. It was very clear, and you understood why she changed. But with Courtney, it's like, oh, she was a nice person all along, even when she was being an awful person and
Yeah.
no
It
one
didn't
was
make
watching
sense.
her and she didn't have to.
I want to mention some stuff in passing, and we can discuss them if you want. But first of all, one of the biggest offenders, like for negative examples we've mentioned, which is actually kind of similar to Regina Barry and Ellen Wyatt slash Sprocket, is the bitch from the Kidnapped Turnabout. Do you remember her with the bandana who wears a maid's outfit?
Yeah. And who has like a
What the
ring pop.
fuck was that? Yeah. What the fuck was that?
Yeah.
She...
But like also the characters from that case were just
I hate that case.
so
I
strange.
hate that case. Like, the setup was perfect. You enter a theme park, an amazing location. We've never had this before. It's named
Yeah.
after the hotel's Gatewater. Its theme
There's
is...
Phoenix, Maya, and Pearl
Yes.
rowing.
Yes. It's the theme is badgers, and Edgeworth gets kidnapped by, and that image will never escape my mind.
Yeah,
I'm so
it was
scared.
so spooky.
And then
Also,
you...
introduction of Kay Faraday and like
Yes,
beginning of their dynamic. It had a great setup.
it had a great setup, and then it just all goes to shit because it becomes this
Yeah,
family drama. And you, like, it makes such a big deal out of, like, there's 4 badgers. The pink one, the bad one, the original one, and the normal one. And it just keeps reminding you of this shit. And then I mean, I don't know what happens because it just turns into this family drama, which is just necessary for the last episode about the Amano group, and something localization did a horrible job translating because the father of the family sponsored Edgeworth to go to study or something. What the fuck is happening?
Yeah, very confusing.
And then it turns out the bad guys is the culprit is this spoiled brat and his fiance who he throws under the bus, and he killed her dad, but she's like still being a whiny bitch about it, and like she doesn't really care, but is still willing to take the bullet for her spouse, her fiance,
Yeah.
sorry. But yeah.
Talk about no personality apart from being in a relationship with another character.
That was horrible. And then the other thing I wanted to mention was I wanted to go back and correct something I said. I said that the women that exude femininity are the ones in professions, or at least that's what it came across as. That's not what I meant, because I'm thinking now about other characters which definitely make a change but didn't have high positions. And I'm especially thinking about Olga Orly, was it the In Me household's wife, the widow?
Oh yeah, Trust?
Was it Trust?
Believe. I think it's Believe.
Trust or Believe, one or the other. Or, for example, who else? The Kitaki mother. Like, they're just... I mean, except for Olga Orly, the other ones are just housewives. And they still come across as powerful.
Desiree is also like technically a housewife. We don't know what her job is.
Isn't she a racer or something?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Remember. But
I think she had a
definitely.
job. Oh, and sorry, I forgot. Norma de Plume. She's a fucking journalist.
Norma de Plume, I love her so much.
And they don't have
writer.
like in the series, for some reason the profession of being a lawyer is like the most highly valued shit. And like a prosecutor, it comes with plenty of riches.
Yeah.
I mean, those women who I've just mentioned come across as so powerful.
Yeah.
And it's not like they're lawyers or anything, but they do match the same energy. Like when I one of the best parts of Spirit of Justice was when the Believe widow separated Maya from her husband's spirit, and she brought out the pink Magatama and just did it like that, and it poofed, and it was so good. That moment was so good.
Yeah, but also I'm getting war flashback from her husband in Maya's body, and just like his skinny torso. Oh, I don't like it.
Yeah, that too. But yeah, that's the other thing I wanted to mention. And the last thing I wanted to mention is that they really missed a golden opportunity with Robin Newman as a trans character.
Oh, definitely.
Did we talk about this before on the podcast? Because I know I've discussed this, but I don't remember if it was on the podcast.
We've discussed the character, I feel like, but not the trans aspect from it.
I mean, the setup is all there. Of course, they wouldn't have the balls to go through with it, but come on, give me something.
I feel like they wanted to and got blocked at the end, because the story that we get is like his her parents forced her to do it. Like, it doesn't make sense.
They wanted
It's
to
not.
do it.
I
Sweetie, I don't
think.
think so.
I think like the story that we get in the game is like her parents. It's something to do with her parents, right?
I don't remember.
I think it's her parent pressuring her to do it, but like it doesn't make sense.
Look, as a lit student, I don't want to toot my own horn, but the implications of like a meek woman hiding as a man, disguising herself as a man in order to get into a school and do well, because men are just so more respected and like revered in the real world, that speaks volumes. But they have that and they do absolutely nothing with it, because as again, like I don't remember if it's because of her parents, but I remember it was like a stupid nonsensical reason. They could have said, even if they didn't make her a transsexual character, they could have said Robin Newman wouldn't get into the school because she was a girl, so she had to disguise herself as a man and apply again. And that just speaks about the academy and like the acceptance being more males and like whatever. But taking it a step
It's
further,
just, yeah. Also,
like,
I hated how her personality changed when she was a man and when she was a girl. Like, it's just, why can't she be both? Like, why can't she be a well-rounded character who has both sides to her? But no, she has to act like that when she's a man, and she has to act like this when she's a woman. It was kind of like
yeah, it's gender roles on gender roles
annoying.
and gender
Yeah.
stereotypes. But I mean, you had the golden ticket. You had the chance to have some transsexual diversity on this character, which
Mm.
wouldn't feel like tokenism, because it's
Yeah. It
obviously,
made sense.
yeah, it's obviously a woman who feels like a man. Like,
Mm.
like she doesn't feel right in her body in order to like be hiding her boobs and stuff. And
Definitely.
if they didn't want to go with the commentary route, they could have gone with that. I mean, again, they wouldn't do this because we've seen what they did with John Armstrong. We I don't want
Yeah.
to even talk about that, but they wouldn't do it. But at least, I don't know. I know they wouldn't do it. I'm repeating myself. I know they wouldn't do it, but I wish there was just some indication, like with the lesbian and gay relationships, which are indicated, that this
Mm.
was actually what she wanted to do. But there's nothing of the
Yeah.
sort.
And it's like implied that once she reveals her secret, she's not gonna go back
Yeah,
as leaving as a man. So
yeah.
it's kind of like, I don't know. They could have be like, I don't know, they could have done a bit of an open ending when she's like, oh, I might do it again, or I like both and stuff like that. It's just they had a good opportunity and they didn't exploit it as much as they could.
Mm, mm.
I do feel like they wanted to do that and got blocked.
I don't think they wanted to do that. I
You
think
think?
I think they're not like after John Armstrong. I think it's no,
Yeah, but maybe they've learned.
no, they haven't, babe. I'm sorry. Uh, I wish there was more diverse. Sorry, diversity in video games. We've talked about this before, but
Mm,
even in media in general, it gets so redundant.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't wanna have our listeners think that if you're gonna be a female character in a video game, you have to bring something to the table. It doesn't have to be like that. I mean, there are filler male characters that don't bring anything to the table and they're just as funny and fun. For
Yeah.
example, Penny Nichols isn't a symbol of feminism or like something. She doesn't bring something new to the table, but She
Yeah.
doesn't. She's not a negative example either. She doesn't. She's just
I
She's just a
love Lotta
character.
Heart, and she's not like groundbreaking. Like she's just a
No.
fun character, and
Um.
she doesn't need to be anything else.
Mm.
It's just, I think all I ask is for the female characters to be well written. You know?
I think all characters should be well written. That's what I didn't want our listeners to think, that a female character should a female character is either a negative example of a bad character, a negative example, or it's a groundbreaking symbol of femininity. No, it doesn't have to be like that. It's just that
Yeah.
it could be the middle ground, like again, Penny Nichols, who literally is just filler. Like she literally doesn't have anything to do. Or I think I hate this bitch more than Ron Delight when I'm thinking about her. Jinx.
Jinx.
Fucking
Jinx
Jinx.
Monsoon.
Not Jinx Monsoon. Jinx doesn't bring anything. I hate her, but
Yeah.
she doesn't do anything wrong. I mean, in terms of like her being a female. But I am of course gonna call out the negative examples. For example, Regina Perry or Ellen Wyatt or that stupid bitch from The Kidnapped Turnabout. Or is Maggie Bird a bad example? I think she's just an annoying character. I don't think she's a bad example. Yeah. Or I hate this bitch too. What's her name? Juniper Woods.
I mean, her character is so weird because she goes from like cold, ambitious future judge to cottagecore obsessed with Apollo. Like she
And
has
that
the
never happens.
strangest evolution.
That never happens.
Of what?
Like her and Apollo. Nothing comes out of it. She's never mentioned again.
No. Yeah. I kind of liked her better as the cold, ambitious side.
Of course you
I
did.
thought it was more interesting.
That was a better side of her. Lord. I'm thinking of other females who aren't necessarily bad but don't bring anything to the table. Like new. Lisa Basil. She's one of my favorite characters.
I mean, she's even there for too long. She has like one secret that we need to find out, and then she's gone.
Yeah, she is gone. Or Nikki Swift. What's her name? Nicole Swift.
Oh, yeah. She was fun. She's definitely super similar to Lotta.
Also, Catherine Hall, the air stewardess from We Defend in Turnabout Airlines, Lana Skye, even Vera Mission, which Skye. I hate.
Yeah.
But yeah. What do you think?
I was trying to think as you were listing the people who was like, they aren't groundbreaking, but they aren't horrible. Yeah. Like, for me, the worst female character might be Regina Barry. Like, she's just such a stereotype of the dumb blonde, and it's so creepy how she's both portrayed as very, very immature to the point where she's almost childlike. Like, she doesn't understand death and she doesn't realize any of her actions. And she's so sexualized. Like, she's engaged to a 20-year-old something man, and every other dude is like interested in her when she's both a child, but also her mental age is under 10 years old. It's just like, and she has no growth.
Yeah, that's
I
seriously
just
problematic.
really don't like her.
She does have growth in investigations too, though.
Mm,
Not character development,
kinda.
but growth in the fact that she's not as annoying.
Yeah. But she's also, is she not as annoying, or she's just not as much present, and so we don't get that much annoyed with her?
Good question.
Mm.
The air stewardess name is Rhoda Tenero. I'll never remember that for the love of God.
What?
Also,
Rhoda
Tenero.
Tenero? What the fuck?
I know. There's something else I wanted to say. Oh, you know something? I was just thinking about this. Regina Berry completely contrasts Chief.
Chief?
The kid in the wheelchair that flies a helicopter.
Oh,
She's
that's
also
true.
a child, and she's like disabled as well, but she does 1,000 times more than Regina Berry, who can do stunts. She can do stunts.
Yeah. That kid was
And
cool.
yeah, that kid was like, the helicopter was annoying, but she overcame, like, she was in a single case like Regina Berry, and unlike Regina Berry, she comes out of her shell, she has to face her dad's death.
Yeah.
And Regina Berry has to do the same and fails miserably.
Yeah. Totally.
Isn't it crazy, like, the similarities?
Yeah, like dad dies and is kind of the only thing that's keeping them together, and two very different reactions, but at the same time, I just think they set Regina up for failure. Like the personality that they gave her is like so awful.
Oh, as a female victim, I also like Candace Arm, the detective who dies at the bombing.
I liked her as well. I almost said her. I love her haircut. I know it has nothing to
Same.
do with, but I just think I love the short hair. I think it's super cute, and I think for the few things we saw of her, she looked really cool.
She did look really cool. I'm glad we agree on something that has to do with Dual Destinies. But yeah.
Ted Tonate.
Don't ruin it now. But yeah, do you want to say something else? Because I've
I
pretty
think I'm
much aired
done. I
everything.
think
Yeah,
I've made.
same.
I think I've made all of my points. I think we should wrap this up.
Yeah, we should. We don't have a topic for next week, do we?
We don't know. We'll see. We'll go with the
Oh, didn't you
flow.
mention something? Didn't you ask me to do
I
something?
was thinking of doing who's more likely with the
Oh,
characters.
yeah. We should definitely do that.
That could be like a fun game.
We should do that.
I think it would make sense because it was kind of like a heavy topic today. Like it was purely a discussion. And so next time, just a game to relax.
Yeah, and we can have random questions as well.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Thank you for listening in. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for reaching the end of this long podcast. And
Yes.
please go follow Antonia on Tumblr. We'll link everything below.
Definitely Her art is adorable. You won't regret it.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it.
Okay, we'll see you next week and take care.
See you next week, everyone. Good night.
Bye. Good night.